Fox, and I got to tell you, I'm friends with a lot of the guys, at ESPN that run the deal, Lee Fitting and others. But Big Noon Kickoff has surpassed it in terms of football information and fun. And Urban's biggest reason why. Hey, boss, Georgia, Florida. Now, it's in Jacksonville. Walk me through, when do teams start preparing for rivalry-type games? When did you start preparing for rivalry-type games?
Well, I learned from the great Woody Hayes, and I grew up in the 1970s, in Ohio. And the coach of the Wolverines was a guy named Bo Schembechler and Woody Hayes. They called it the 10-year war from 69 to 79. And I grew up in that era. And it just became part of your DNA. And then Earl Bruce, I worked for him at Ohio State. And it was the same mentality that's not a rivalry like that one is not you don't go play the game and, hey, it's a big week and you know what's coming down the road. It's a year-long process. It's something that you indoctrinate. That's a beautiful thing about college sports. You get these young players, and they're 17 years old, and you get to indoctrinate them into a culture, into a way of life. And the way I've always looked at it, because I was taught that way, is that is a way of life. I remember Jerry DiNardo one time, Dan asked me, he said, so do you really, he kind of called me out on it, do you really believe you can lose every other game and win that rivalry game against the Wolverines and it's a good season? I looked him right in the eye and said, absolutely, that's correct. And the same's the opposite. You can win every other game, you lose that one, your season's a failure.